Okay, so let's discuss about pronouns, and we will discuss the concepts, and then we will do the exercises. But first, let's discuss the concepts of pronouns. Uh, a pronoun case. What are the different pronoun case errors? Pronouns generally have got three cases. Cases don't go with that. ये जो केस यूज वाला जो टेक्निकल वर्ड था ना उस पे मत जाओ, बस जानो कि तीन एलिमेंट्स उसमें होते हैं। एक होता है सब्जेक्ट, एक होता है ऑब्जेक्ट, एक होता है पोजेसिव, है ना। तो बस उस हिसाब से याद रखो। सो वी हैव गॉट एन सब्जेक्टिव और एन नॉमिनेटिव केस, वी हैव गॉट एन ऑब्जेक्टिव और एक्यूजेटिव। एक्यूजेटिव केस, इसको एक्यूजेटिव भी बोला जाता है। just राइट, इसको ये जैसे नॉमिनेटिव है, ऑब्जेक्टिव को एक्यूजेटिव केस भी बोलते हैं। एक्यूजेटिव, दिस इज ऑल्सो नोन एज एन एक्यूजेटिव केस। Accusative, objective pronoun. So, subjective or nominative pronoun is used as the subject of the verb. Objective pronoun is the used as the object of the verb or preposition. Objective or accusative case. And possessive expresses pronoun. चलो एक sentence लेके let's check the options. Let's take a sentence and like suppose let's take a sentence. He threw a ball. He threw a ball at him. He threw a ball at him. Now, threw is a verb. Threw is the verb. Who did the action? He. So, he is the subjective or the nominative case. Now, there are two objects here. Ball is an object and him is an object. So, here, him is known as the subjective or the nominative pronoun. It is known as the subjective case or the nominative case. Now, if you notice one thing, before the verb comes the subjective case, and after the verb comes the objective case, and that is always the case because the subject will always come before the verb, and object will come after the verb. It will also after the preposition, as you can see here, the preposition is here. So after the preposition is the object. Now that's the definition of a preposition. बाद में discuss करते हैं, because how do we differentiate? An object preposition needs to have an object after it to be known as a preposition. या तो कोई preposition को हम लोग adverb जैसे भी use कर सकते हैं, कुछ words को वो preposition में भी use हो सकता है। But preposition के बाद में उस word के बाद में अगर object है तो उसको हम लोग preposition कहते हैं। वो other discussion, we'll do it later. ठीक है? Then possessive pronoun. Possessive means me, my cycle, my bicycle has been stolen. राइट, सो ये हो गया, माई हो गया पॉजिटिव केस। यानी पॉजिटिव मीन जो मेरे पास है, माई, माइन, हिज, हर, देयर, आवर, आवर्स, ये सारा जो है ये पॉजिटिव प्रोनाउन होता है। प्रोनाउन एरर्स ऑकर स्पेशली इन द केस ऑफ रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन। ये दोनों एरिया में एरर्स होते हैं। व्हाट आर द रिलेटिव प्रोनाउंस? दैट, व्हिच, हुज, whom। ये इवन हम इसको इंटरोगेटिव प्रोनाउन भी के तौर पे यूज करते हैं। बट इंटरोगेटिव जिस सेंटेंस में ये यूज होगा, अगर उस सेंटेंस के एंड में एक क्वेश्चन मार्क है तो फिर हम उसको इंटरोगेटिव कहेंगे। अगर फुल स्टॉप है तो उसको हम रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन। देन वी हैव दिस पर्सनल प्रोनाउंस। देन वी हैव दिस पर्सनल प्रोनाउंस, दैट इज आई, वी, यू, ये सारा है पर्सनल प्रोनाउन। यानी जो हम लोग अभी डिस्कस करेंगे फर्स्ट पर्सन, सेकंड पर्सन, थर्ड पर्सन, उसको हम लोग पर्सनल प्रोनाउंस करेंगे। लेट्स सी इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। नाउ इन द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड यू कैन सी इट इज we have this cases. First is a personal pronoun. We can see the personal pronoun and nominative personal pronoun में फर्स्ट पर्सन ये होता है फर्स्ट पर्सन। फर्स्ट पर्सन यानी द पर्सन स्पीकिंग, राइट। Person speaking is the first person. Person speaking. Second person is second person. Second person is person spoken to। यानी मैं जिससे बात कर रहा हूं, मैं यहां पे बात कर रहा हूं तो मैं फर्स्ट पर्सन, मैं अगर आप लोग से बात कर रहा हूं तो आप है पर्सन स्पोकन टू, आप लोग से बात कर रहा हूं तो ये हो गया सेकंड पर्सन। और अगर हम दोनों और किसी के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं तो वो हो गया थर्ड पर्सन, राइट? सो दैट इज थर्ड पर्सन, दैट इज थर्ड पर्सन। पर्सन स्पोकन अबाउट, पर्सन स्पोकन अबाउट। क्लियर? सो फर्स्ट पर्सन सिंगुलर इज आई, वी। एक्यूजेटिव, और देखो यहाँ पे एक्यूजेटिव लिखा हुआ है ना, तो नो ऑब्जेक्टिव केस इज मी और अस, एंड पोजेसिव इज माई और आवर, एंड माइन और आवर्स। पर्सनल प्रोनाउन second person is you, even object is also you, and or first person second person both is you, and your and yours is the possessive. Third person, it is he, she, it, they. These are all nominative, that is the third person pronoun. And objective is or accusative is him, her, it, them. And the same you can see in possessive pronoun also. His, her, its, their, and in plural also his, hers, its, theirs. So it is there. Then relative pronoun is who or whom. Relative pronoun who is the subjective. In the subjective case, we use relative pronoun who. For the objective or the accusative, we use whom. And for possessive, we use whose. When I say whose pen is it, it is his. So that's that the answer that you get is in possessive. That's one. Sure. Then the first one, that is me and mine. Me and mine. The use of it. You and me shall become friends. Now look at this. You and me shall become good friends. Now shall is a verb. Shall is a verb. Now here, before the verb, as I was mentioning, before the verb, it has to be the subjective case and not the nominative case. So here, subjective case is I. You and I shall become good friends. So me is an objective case. Me is an objective case. So it cannot come before the verb. बहुत ही simple सा fundamental चीज याद रखो। जो सब्जेक्टिव केस होता है या नोमिनेटिव केस होता है वो वर्ब से पहले आएगा, मेन वर्ब हो या तो हेल्पिंग वर्ब हो, उससे पहले अगर आता है द प्रोनाउन या तो नाउन, दैट इज अ सब्जेक्टिव केस, एंड अगर उसके बाद में आता है सो दैट इज नोन एज द ऑब्जेक्टिव केस। एम आई क्लियर? सो दैट्स व्हाई यहाँ पे शैल हो गया वर्ब, हेल्पिंग वर्ब, एंड ये उससे पहले जो की आता है, इसलिए यहाँ पे ये जो मी है ये नहीं आ सकता है बिकॉज ये ऑब्जेक्टिव केस है। इससे पहले सब्जेक्टिव केस आना चाहिए, आई इज द सब्जेक्ट। अच्छा, अब दूसरी बात, मैं कैसे चेक करूं ये प्रोनाउंस को? क्या जो लिखा हुआ है इसको क्या मैं मगअप कर लूं, रट्टा लगा लूं? नहीं, बहुत ही आसान तरीका है। कोई भी प्रोनाउन उठा लो, ठीक है? चलो माई, पुट ए वर्ब आफ्टर, माई इज अ पोजेसिव, हाँ पोजेसिव, सो माई प्ले। सही है? नहीं हो रहा है ना, सो ये नहीं है सब्जेक्टिव केस। अच्छा, हिज रन हो रहा है? नहीं ना, तो ये नहीं है सब्जेक्टिव केस। ही रन्स, सही है, सो ये हो गया सब्जेक्टिव केस। यानी कोई भी प्रोनाउन लो और उसके बाद में एक वर्ब प्लेस करो, कोई भी सब्जेक्ट लो, प्रोनाउन लो, उसके बाद में एक वर्ब प्लेस करो, अगर वर्ब फिट हो रहा है सो दैट इज द सब्जेक्टिव केस। अगर वर्ब फिट नहीं हो रहा है सो दैट इज नॉट अ सब्जेक्टिव केस। वो कोई भी हो सकता है, इट कैन बी अ ऑब्जेक्टिव केस, इट कैन बी अ it can be anything, huh? It's the easiest way to remember that before a verb, whatever will the pronoun that comes will always be the subjective case. After the verb, it will always be the objective case. Okay? That's the easiest way to remember. Then who or whom, the use of who or whom. The pronoun who is used in a nominative case. Who is always the subject of the verb. The pronoun used is an objective case. Whom is always the object of the verb. What does that mean? Means who is used in the nominative case. when it comes to nominative case, who is always, we just saw in the previous slide, who is always used as the subject of the verb. So, who is always used as the subject of the verb, right? And whom is always the subject of the verb. Like, no, when you ask the question in who, and the answer that you get will always be the subjective case. कोशिश कर देखते ना. Who told you? He told me. He is the subjective case. Who gave you this? She gave me this. So that's again a subjective case. Okay. The pronoun whom is used as an objective case. Is used as an objective case. चलो इस पे भी क्वेश्चन, अगर क्वेश्चन का जो सवाल का जो जवाब है ना, वो whom से अगर हम पूछते हैं तो आंसर जो है वो ऑब्जेक्टिव केस में आएगा. जैसे कि by whom was this book written? This book was written by him. So him is an objective case, right? Whom did you meet yesterday? I met her yesterday. Her is again an objective case. Okay? And whom is always used as the object of the verb. Now, this is the lady why I long to meet. So this is the lady why I long to meet. So here I'm talking about the objective case. So this is the lady whom, जिनसे मैं मिलना चाहता था. So whom I long to meet. The pronoun in the objective case is always the object of the preposition. What we have discussed. But if the verb after the pronoun is implied and indicates the action of a specific pronoun, the nominative case is used. Let's see this. The grand finale was missed by I. Now it says the grand finale was the verb, was missed by I. Now, my friends, as I just mentioned, after the verb, it cannot be a subjective case, no? After the verb, it cannot be a subjective case. It has to be an objective case, and me is the objective case. That's why this is correct. Here, this is the verb. This is a verb. Was missed is a verb. So after that, it has to be object. It cannot be subject. Got it? No? That's an easier way of remembering. As far as the detection of the case is concerned, Mr. James is better at it than me. So now look at this particular sentence. This is important and you need to understand this one. Huh? Guys, all of you, please listen carefully. Mr. James is better at it than me. Now here we are using than. Whenever in a sentence, there's a comparison, a subjective case will always be compared to the subjective case, and an objective case will always be compared with an objective case. A subject cannot be compared with an object, and an objective case cannot be compared with a subjective case. Like this, I'll tell you. This is a very common sentence that we have been using. He is as tall as me. Now, as you understand, he is a subjective case, me is an objective case, and the comparison is as tall as. So, he is as tall as me. This cannot be compared because this is a subjective case, this is an objective case, and a subjective case cannot be compared with an objective case. So, a subjective case will always be compared with a subjective case, and that's why it is I. He is as tall as I. Full stop. Now your question would be, I am, no? It should be I am. He is as tall as I am. नहीं. He is as tall as I. Full stop. क्योंकि जो verb होता है ना, am, वो हम लोग बोलते हैं, it is mentally supplied. You don't have to write it. अगर मैं बोलता हूँ, they play cricket. They play cricket better. They play cricket better than us. They play cricket better than us. Now यहाँ पे comparison है, better than. और यहाँ पे subjective. There is a subjective case because इसके बाद में हम लोग verb डाल सकते हैं. Then us. Us is an objective case because इसके बाद में हम verb नहीं डाल सकते. So this is wrong because this is a subject and this is an object. I cannot compare a subject with an object. So they play cricket better than we. And full stop, not we do, because do is again the verb which is mentally supplied, so you don't have to use the word do. So they play cricket better than we. Clear? So ये वाला important है, ध्यान रखना क्यों हो रहा है ऐसे. Now, pronouns in the objective case are used after prepositions in passive sentences. All the bananas were devoured by him. So all the bananas were. This is a verb here. And the verb and the preposition is by. Devoured by कौन? Na him. Because as I said, the identity of a preposition, or when we call it as a preposition, is when we have a object after it. When there's an object after a particular word, we call it as the preposition. So here from them. So from is a preposition because after that is the object that is there. Antecedent pronoun agreement. This is again an important one. Remember this. A pronoun must agree with its antecedent in the person. It means that whatever is the first one, antecedent means ante. Ante means before. Vocabulary. Ante means before. Seed means set. So one which goes before is antecedent. A pronoun which is a pronoun must agree with its antecedent in person and number. Chalo, for instance, every person but gets a chance. So the pronoun antecedent is what is ante? Ante, as I said before, sid means set. So antecedent in the person. So antecedent is every. So which is singular. Get a chance to cast his or her vote. So that's what it says. A pronoun must agree with its antecedent in person and in number. So that's why it is singular. Every is singular. So it's, and what follows it will also be in singular. All politicians come together to present a united front against their adversaries. All politicians, it says. And all politicians means it is plural. All politicians, it is plural. As this is plural, that's why the pronoun that will follow will be there, which is again plural. When two nouns or pronouns are joined by and a plural is used. The police and the army. The police, this is one. The army, another one, joined by and. You can find the same reference. I have discussed this in my other video on subject verb agreement. All these rules I have discussed. The police and the army put in their effort. So it is this the police is one singular, the army is another singular, connected by and the verb has to be the pronoun that is used is plural. The pronoun which is used is plural. The companies and the labor, so it is connected by and presented their opinion because it is plural, the company and the labor. So the pronoun that we have used is plural. All the boys played their subject verb. We will talk about verb. Here we are talking about the pronouns. All the boys is plural, with their helicopters. Played with their. So boys is plural. So the pronoun that will follow will be there. All the boys played with his helicopters. How can it be his? All the boys played with his helicopters. So this is wrong. Clear? When two singular pronouns are joined by or nor, when there are two singular pronouns which are joined by or nor, a singular pronoun is used. For example, either Neil or Nilesh, and it is connected by either or. Have to lend his bag. So it is his. So it is his. So you will use a singular pronoun. Similarly, Neil or Nilesh has to lend his bag. So it says have to. The verb we have used is have to, is error. So has to, it is to be his and not have. That is a error. Because only one of the two people has to perform the action. When we say either or, so means either Nilesh will do it or Neil will do it or Nilesh will, not both. So how can I take it as both? The plural verb होगा नहीं. Neither my father nor my daughter will give his or her keys. Now, neither my father nor my daughter will give his or her keys. So ये दोनों में से कोई भी नहीं देगा. तो दोनों में से कोई, तो that's why we are using singular. Neither my husband nor my secretary again can give his or her blood. ठीक है, बिकॉज हम लोग आइदर ये ना तो वो, तो ऐसा हम लोग यूज कर रहे हैं, दोनों में से कोई भी नहीं. सो दैट्स व्हाई वी आर यूजिंग सिंगुलर. When nouns are connected with correlative conjunctions such as either or neither nor, the singular or the plural for the verb is used depending on the latter pronoun. Means जो verb होगा, the The plural form the verb is used. तो हम लोग वो अगेन सब्जेक्ट वर्ब एग्रीमेंट में डिस्कस हुआ, आइदर यू और योर फ्रेंड्स. सो फ्रेंड्स इज प्लूरल. जो जो वर्ब है it will depend on this, and this is plural, so this is singular, this is error. And in this case, as you can see, the nearest one is have, which agrees with the plural subject. That is why it is plural. That's correct. Now same, you or Rakesh have to leave the class. Either you or Rakesh have to leave. Now again, Rakesh is singular, how can I use a plural verb? So ye galat. So Rakesh is singular. That's why in this sentence, you can see Rakesh is there and a singular verb is there. So that's why this sentence is correct. Neither you nor your parents is at fault. Now here it says your parents, which is plural. The verb here is singular. So this is an error. But here the parents is plural. The verb is plural. So this sentence is correct. Neither you nor he are at fault. I'm sorry, this probably is a typo error. Neither you nor he are at fault. Now he is singular, are is plural. So this sentence is wrong. Neither you nor he is at fault. So this sentence is correct. Clear? A pronoun must agree with its antecedent in person, means first person, second person, third person. One cannot, now one cannot be forced if he now changes. One is an indefinite pronoun, he is a third person. So it cannot. So this sentence is wrong. One cannot be forced if one does. So this sentence is correct because this is a pronoun antecedent. It agrees with it. So यहाँ पे one cannot be forced if one does not wish to come to the party. He cannot be forced. He cannot be forced if he does not wish. So that's why this is a pronoun antecedent agreement. So that's why correct. एम्बिग्यूअस प्रोनाउन क्या होता है ना कि कभी कभार जो प्रोनाउन हम लोग यूज करते हैं ना वो कंफ्यूजन होता क्रिएट करता है, एम्बिग्यूटी क्रिएट करता है कि बिकॉज इट मैचेस विद व्हिच वन. ये आइदर इसको बोल रहा समझा रहा है या तो उसको समझा रहा है, वो कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट करता है. अब देखते हैं. द चिल्ड्रन कुड स्पेंड time with their parents. It would make them feel better. Now ये जो them है ये confusion create कर. It would make them feel better. किसको? It will make the children feel better, or is it going to make the parents feel better? यहाँ पे clarity नहीं आ रहा. So this sentence, this pronoun is wrong here. But if I say the children should spend time with their parents, it could make the parents feel better. तो ambiguity या confusion remove हो जाता है. सो कोई कोई जो प्रोनाउंस हम लोग यूज करते हैं वो एम्बिग्यूटी या कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट करते हैं. द पेस्टिसाइड्स आर हार्मिंग द क्रॉप, यू हैव टू डिस्कार्ड देम. अगेन ये जो देम है ये किसके बारे में बोल रहा है? हमको पेस्टिसाइड्स को वी हैव टू डिस्कार्ड और वी हैव टू डिस्कार्ड द क्रॉप्स. कौन सा क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है. सो देन द पेस्टिसाइड्स आर हार्मिंग द क्रॉप, यू हैव टू डिस्कार्ड द पेस्टिसाइड्स. देन ओनली there is no confusion, there is no ambiguity, and the sentence is clear or there is a clarity. If pronouns are misplaced, they change the meaning of the sentence. I have uploaded a video on modifier error. So उस modifier error में इस बारे में मैं बात कर रहा हूँ और मैं exercises इस पे करवाया हूँ. Pronouns are misplaced. We call it as misplaced modifiers, which gives a wrong meaning to the sentence. For example, if your baby is scared of the dog, hand it to your husband. Right? If your baby is scared, hand it to your husband. किसको hand करेंगे? जो hand it over, hand it to your husband. ये किसको? कुत्ता को ना बेबी को. Hand the baby to your husband if it is scared, or hand the dog to your husband if the baby is scared. कौन सा? So this also creates an ambiguity. We call it misplaced modifiers. Usage of that and which ये important है. We had discussed this. दैट एंड विच कहां पे यूज करेंगे? ये बहुत ज्यादा क्वेश्चंस यू विल गेट इन ज़ैट, या तो बहुत सारा फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स आता है, ग्रामर का जो फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स आता है, तो ये क्वेश्चन डेफिनेटली होता है. यहाँ पे दैट फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स दे देंगे, दैट फिट करेगा कि विच फिट करेगा, दे विल आस्क. या तो एरर स्पॉटिंग क्वेश्चन बैंकिंग एंड एसएससी में जो क्वेश्चंस आते हैं तो उसमें एक सिंगल सेंटेंस में एरर फाइंड करना होता है, उसमें वो लोग दैट या विच डाल के वो लोग चेक करते हैं. That is used with defining or a restrictive clause. अच्छा क्या है वो? A restrictive clause restricts or limits the meaning of the noun it is referring to. The restrictive clause contains information that is necessary to understand the sentence and starts with that. देखो, don't worry, ये technical word पे मत जाओ, example देखो समझ में आ जाएगा. Definitions में नहीं. The oranges which are in the basket will be given to the children. Now यहाँ पे बोल रहा है the oranges which are in the basket. So this is not a restrictive one. This is not a which are in the basket will be given to the children. So यहाँ पे what we use is that the oranges that are in the basket will be given to the children. So यहाँ पे क्योंकि ये restrictive है, so that's why we will use the pronoun that and not the pronoun which. ठीक है? So a restrictive clause restricts or limits the meaning of the noun that are in the basket. कौन सा oranges देंगे? जो oranges basket में है. Limits the meaning of the noun it is referring to. So that's why we will use that. और एक चीज नोटिस करना कि अगर एक सेंटेंस दिया गया उसके जहां पे विच या दैट का ऑप्शन तुम लोग को दिया गया है वहां पे देखना ना इसके पहले विच और जो ब्लैंक स्पेस या तो ऐसा कंफ्यूजन जो क्लॉज दिया गया वो यहाँ पे अगर एक कॉमा है और वो सेंटेंस कंटिन्यू करता है वो सेंटेंस कंटिन्यू करता है और फिर वहां पे एक कॉमा है एंड फिर वो सेंटेंस गोज अहेड एंड गेट्स अ फुल स्टॉप. तो जहां पे यू विल फाइंड दीज टू कॉमास सेपरेटिंग अ पार्ट ऑफ द सेंटेंस वहां पे जनरली विच यूज होता है. जहां पे तो दो टू पार्ट्स जो होता है तो टू कॉमास उसके बीच में जो आता है वो होता है वहां पे हम लोग विच यूज करते हैं. क्लियर? It is where we use that's an easier way. I just told you it's not that it's always applicable, but mostly you'll find this. If there is a sentence where you find a comma here and you find a comma here in these two portions, there's a comma and there's a blank space and they want you to fill in it with which or that, then you will fill this with a which. That is where the sentence where it's not cut off by these commas as it is. So there you can use that. The clause that are in the basket describes specific oranges that will be given to the children, and it is a restrictive clause. So here we are talking about that are in the basket describes in that sentence when we have this that are in the basket. So it describes the specific oranges. Which oranges will be given? That are in the basket. Not the oranges somewhere else. It is in the basket. So that is why it is a restrictive clause. So which will be given? It is a restrictive clause. I have visited all the museums in Dallas which contain exhibits of the Stone Age. So now I have visited. Now you will say, sir, there's a comma here, but इसके बाद में कहाँ है? नहीं है ना? And more of कौन सा म्यूजियम्स को मैं गया हूँ डलास में that contains exhibits of the Stone Age. So ये restrictive clause है. So we using that. कौन सा? Restrictive clause means particular one. जो डिफाइन कर रहा है उस क्लॉज को. सो कौन सा म्यूजियम में गया हूं दैट एग्जिबिट्स कंटेन्स एग्जिबिट्स ऑफ द स्टोन एज. दैट्स व्हाई दिस सेंटेंस इज करेक्ट. The sentence above mentions specific museums those displaying exhibits of the Stone Age. It does not provide any extra information. Wherever it is, एक sentence देखो extra information के बारे में बता रहा हूं. The book which has been autographed, ठीक है, autographed by him is on auction. Is on auction. यहां पे देखो द बुक, द बुक, फिर यहां पे कॉमा विच हैज बीन ऑटोग्राफ्ड बाय हिम, देन अगेन देयर इज अ कॉमा हियर. मैं यहां पे विच क्यों यूज किया? बिकॉज अगर मैं इस सेंटेंस को बीच से हटा देता हूं फिर भी सेंटेंस इज कंप्लीट. देखो द बुक इज ऑन ऑक्शन, द बुक इज ऑन ऑक्शन, सेंटेंस कंप्लीट हो रहा है. सो यानी एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन क्या है कि वो बुक जो है वो उसके द्वारा ऑटोग्राफ किया गया है. सो यहां पे हम विच लगाते हैं. ठीक है? सो दैट इज व्हाट इट सेज. विच अ रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन which a relative pronoun is used to introduce a non-defining or non-restrictive clause. This clause provides more information about an object. It provides more information about an object or person that has already been mentioned. So, means I mentioned about the book. मैं बुक के बारे में बोल चुका हूं और उसके बारे में ये फिर से एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है. सो वहां पे हम विच लगाएंगे, जो कि नॉन रेस्ट्रिक्टिव या नॉन डिफाइनिंग क्लॉज। द तारा ग्रुप ओन्स मेनी इंडस्ट्रीज दैट आर स्प्रेड अक्रॉस द ग्लोब। सो द तारा ग्रुप ओन्स मेनी इंडस्ट्रीज, उसके बारे में, इंडस्ट्रीज के बारे में मैं क्या एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा हूं, दैट आर स्प्रेड अक्रॉस द ग्लोब। इसके बारे में एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन, अगर मैं इस सेंटेंस को देखूं, द तारा ग्रुप ओन्स मेनी इंडस्ट्रीज, सेंटेंस कंप्लीट है। तारा ग्रुप ओन्स मेनी इंडस्ट्रीज, सेंटेंस कंप्लीट है। बट उसके बारे में फिर से एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा हूं, विच आर स्प्रेड अक्रॉस द ग्लोब। सो दैट्स व्हाई हियर वी आर यूजिंग विच। सो यहां पे हम लोग विच यूज कर रहे हैं, ठीक है ना। The clause which are spread across the globe is providing additional information on the industries. Using that or which can completely change the meaning of a sentence. कैसे हम देखते हैं? For instance, the bag that is on the table, the bag that is on the table is heavy. Means that particular bag which is on the table, that is heavy. So that is on the table is a restrictive clause. It gives the impression that there are many bags, but a particular bag, the one on the table is heavy. ठीक है? The bag which is on the table is heavy. The bag which is on the table is heavy. यानी बाकी जो बैग जमीन पे रखा हुआ है, सोफे पे रखा हुआ है, बेड पे रखा हुआ है, वो हैवी नहीं है। जो बैग टेबल पे रखा हुआ है वो हैवी है। सो द बैग विच इज ऑन द टेबल इज हैवी। सो इज अ नॉन, इट डिस्क्राइब्स द बैग। इट थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है, जो टेबल पे जो बैग है उसके बारे में एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन, that it is heavy. It describes the bag, it is heavy, and also provides additional information, it is on the table. So that's why we are using here which, because it is giving us more information. Clear? Which is also an interrogative pronoun used in questions. Which is also an interrogative pronoun which is used in questions. That is never used in an interrogative pronoun. Which book have you read? That book have you read? Do we ask anybody? Do we say which book have you read? Which teacher did you meet? So we use it that way. Okay. Then, for instance, which is the shortest route to the hotel? We cannot, that is a demonstrative pronoun used to point towards that specific things and indicate proximity. That book is mine. That book is mine. So we use it as a demonstrative pronoun. That, this, those is called demonstrative pronoun. Okay. For instance, that house belongs to Mr. Percy. So when we are pointing to a particular object, to our specific thing, or which has got a proximity also, we use that thing. Okay. So that is all about pronouns. बस दो चीज याद रखना है pronoun में, which is important. कि a subjective case is always compared with a subjective case, and objective is compared with an objective case. ठीक है? So he is as old as I, not he is as old as me, or he is as tall as me. नहीं, is as tall as I. So जहां पे भी as, dash, as and than use हुआ होगा comparison, वहां पे subjective case will be subjective case. Second important thing ये पूरा pronouns में है कि जो सब्जेक्टिव केस है वो हरदम वर्ब से पहले ही आएगा। जो सब्जेक्टिव केस है वो वर्ब से पहले ही आएगा, वो चाहे हेल्पिंग वर्ब हो, दैट इज दिस मॉडल वर्ब्स एंड ऑक्सिलरी वर्ब्स, वो हो या तो मेन वर्ब्स हो। वर्ब के पहले जब भी कोई प्रोनाउन आता है, दैट इज ऑलवेज अ सब्जेक्टिव केस। वर्ब के बाद में जो आता है, दैट इज ऑलवेज एन ऑब्जेक्टिव केस। एम आई क्लियर? So we will be doing the exercises on this, on pronouns, to have a little more clarity. ठीक है? चलो, see you in the next video.